What's up everyone, and welcome to another Wayfarers East Heroclix tutorial. In our last video we were checking out the black defensive ability Regeneration, and for this video we're going to be looking into the black damage ability Outwit. And Outwit can be identified on the dial by looking for that black square in the bottom right hand side of your dial, that black number 1 next to the damage explosion there. That means that Lucius Fox here can use Outwit. And Outwit is defined as give this character a free action to counter a power or combat ability possessed by a single target opposing character until the beginning of your next turn. Any game effects with a duration specified by the countered power or combat ability are removed. Any character using this power must be within range, minimum range of 6, and line of fire to the target. Alright. So first off, you're giving this character a free action, so you don't need to worry about using a power action or anything like that. It's basically like using Perplex or Sidestep or Defend or whatever. You know, it's a free action, and then you can choose any power or ability that a character possesses. One thing to note, that if a character has a trait, you cannot outwit a trait unless your character has a special ability allowing you to do so. And then you can counter a power or combat ability possessed by a single target opposing character until the beginning of your next turn. So, for example, Magic here has probability control, which allows you to re-roll your rolls on your turn and your opponent's rolls on their turn 1 time per turn. And if you don't want Magic to be able to do that when you're trying to make an attack, then you can choose to outwit her probability control so that she can't use it until the beginning of the next turn. It's something that's very handy and very useful in a tight situation, or if you're facing off against somebody like World Breaker over here, who's got that 19 defense with Impervious. I mean, a 19 is already hard enough to hit, but if they've got Outwit, then you can worry about getting rid of that that Impervious. Makes it a little bit easier to actually do some damage to them. And so that's really what's nice about Outwit. It says any game effects with a duration specified by the countered power or combat ability are removed. So, for example, if a character had something that said that they would gain 1 damage every turn for 3 turns, or so, it's the options are endless. But anything that allows them to continually stack up something or does damage to somebody or whatever, those would be no longer working. They'd have to either restart them, or if it's something that they can only use once per game, then it's done. But also, it's one thing to take note is you have to make sure that an ability does not say it cannot be countered before you try and use Outwit on it. One example of this would be Colossal Stamina, which, as we know, is when a character can break automatically and may move through characters or may move through squares adjacent to or are occupied by opposing characters, but still needs to break away normally. And then when it has 2 action tokens, if we can give it a non-free action and take damage, unavoidable damage, yada yada yada. But at the end of it, it says this ability cannot be countered, meaning that you cannot use Outwit to get rid of that ability for a turn. So make sure that when you're outwitting, nice thing to always do is make sure you're just outwitting the powers and abilities, because all of those are outwittable except for maybe some special powers, but those are specifically have to look for the card for that one. And then remember that they do get their power back at the beginning of your next turn, so unless you want to use Outwit again to get rid of it, they will be getting it back eventually. And then lastly, a character using this power must be within range, minimum range of 6, and line of fire to the target. So if Magic is sitting right there, Lucius Fox could outwit her damage ability or whatever it is, but if she's way off in the corner 6 spaces away, even though Lucius Fox has a range of 0, he can still do 6, but if she's more than 6 squares away, then he cannot outwit her abilities. And that's basically all that is for Outwit. I hope you liked this video. Make sure you subscribe to Wayfarers East on YouTube. Check me out on Facebook and Twitter and wayfarerseast.com. Without further ado, have yourself a great day.